I'm here.
Oh, I see you. How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm trying to find a good spot to sit where I'm not going to get disturbed. Um, and good to see you, man. Sorry about your isolation. That's just really sad. Seeing you holding your skateboard, staring out the
Oh,
window. Just poor guy.
things aren't actually that bad.
Yeah, I know. But anyways, it looked really good for media and for TV, man. Like you are a natural. You really are a natural. Just
Yeah.
for those that are wondering, YFC London is actually London, Ontario. That's in Canada. We do have a few people in the UK wondering why we don't have accents, but it's like London, Ontario, Canada, the real London. That's where we are. Um, and right now, we aren't all here. The deck has some little challenges because we can't skate in it, Jared.
Yeah. Well, I can. No one else can.
No, it's turned into
Oh
food
no.
environment now, so you can't either, bro.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Never
Sorry,
mind.
Brody, bro. You're skating and you're sidewalk, but you look good though, just the same. And your dog skates pretty good too. But before we get into that and some of the questions that inquiring minds have been asking, Jared is a youth worker in our community, working with young people, specifically at this point focusing on skateboarding. But he also has some other talents that we'll delve into in a little bit. But first, lightning round. We have some lightning round questions for you, Jared. First one is this: Mondays or Fridays?
Oh, Fridays for sure.
Okay. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Invisibility or super strength?
Well, I already have super strength, so
Yeah, but
invisibility.
we're not talking about Cecilia. We're talking about what you're saying.
I
Like,
would still take invisibility, I think.
okay, okay. Morning or night?
I love being up early in the morning, but I hate getting up early in the morning. So I'm a morning guy, but not. I do what I don't want to do. So I stay up late and I wake up late when really I'd rather go to bed early and wake up early.
Okay, lightning round, morning or night?
Morning.
Thank you. Save the long answers for later, bro. Okay, favorite number?
9. It's the highest
Okay,
number.
cow or pig?
Pig.
Okay, blue or red?
Blue.
Is there any connection between pig and blue?
Pig and blue?
Yeah,
Why would there be a connection?
I was wondering. All
No.
right, Jared, how are you coping, man? Are you enjoying hanging at home? And
Yeah, I am. I feel even just talking with other staff, like I feel like maybe I'm getting accustomed to it a little quicker than others. Just I don't know. I think yeah, isolation has kind of just given me time to sort of reflect more and like just work on things, or even like it's caused me because I'm not going out and doing anything else, so like it's caused me to start doing like home workouts and stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah, like honestly, in a lot of ways, I'm really enjoying the time of like not having much scheduled.
Okay,
We're having like things to be at all the time. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I was gonna say you're looking pretty buff,
yeah,
so
you
I
can
can tell
tell.
in the sweatshirt that yeah, like that sweatshirt's almost about to tear. You're like the Hulk, man.
Well, that's why I said I already have super strength.
Yeah, like that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, so some questions that came in online that inquiring minds want to know. How has working for YFC impacted your life?
Um, I mean, a lot of ways. I think the main thing for me is just like it's really forced me to rely on God in my everyday life. Like, yeah, over I guess the past year and a half, I've been on sort of a journey of learning not to rely on my own strength, um, and yeah, rather just let God use my life despite my flaws. And yeah, so like that need has kind of just been magnified by having to do so many things at YFC that make me uncomfortable. There's so many aspects of this job that are like way out of my comfort zone. And it's like, okay, I can't do this, but I know that God has put me here, so I will do this. And yeah, just allow him to sort of take over there.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm glad you said that was things of your job makes you uncomfortable, not the people that you work with.
Well, one person in particular sometimes.
All right. Well, hey, we got another question here. Why are you so darn good looking?
I think it's the mustache. Like,
Oh, it is.
yeah, that I think the mustache,
Wow.
it hides all the other flaws.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So you would suggest facial hair to anyone that's watching right now?
Specifically a mustache, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Another question. If Jesus was a skater, would he be goofy or regular stance? And first, for those that are going to be watching this later that may not understand skate culture, what's a goofy or regular stance? But you can say that after you tell us
Well,
what kind of a skater would Jesus be?
I feel like you're asking that question because you don't know and you just wanted to throw it off to
No,
the,
I just want
the
to make sure
people
that
who may
those
not.
viewing afterwards, performance
Uh,
reviews haven't been done yet.
I think I think Jesus would be goofy stance. And so what goofy means is when you're standing on the skateboard, your right foot is forward. So your right foot is the front foot, that's goofy. And if your left foot is the front foot, that's regular. So
Okay.
I believe Jesus would be goofy.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And that's probably how I would skate too. So me and Jesus, we share initials and we probably skate the same. All right. What is the biggest thing working with youth has taught you?
um,
Biggest thing.
so I saw this question beforehand, and I wrote down my thoughts for this.
Are you getting
And
some love on that one, man?
there's
Thanks for the love. If you like what Jared's saying, just hit on the lower right-hand corner and give him the love. Show him the love. Continue.
yeah, I think there's two kind of main things that working with youth has specifically taught me in the past year and a half. And like the first thing is just how hard it is to be a young person nowadays. Like, yeah, I've just seen that there's so much pressure for young people to succeed in school, to succeed in their extracurriculars, to know exactly what they want to do after they're done high school. And then like on top of that, they're bombarded with like an unprecedented amount of distractions every single day. Like every social media platform, every streaming platform, every company is doing everything they can to get their attention. And like, yeah, honestly, I think a lot of times those distractions are winning and beating out sort of maybe the other things that youth should be focusing time on. And then, yeah, but then they're still sort of, they're expected to still be productive and succeed in the different areas of their life when maybe they haven't been equipped to balance everything that's going on around them. So yeah, I think that's one thing that I've really learned working with youth. And then on a more positive note, it's just working with youth has taught me like how important the next generation really is. Like they're inheriting a crazy world. And I think that they all recognize that. And I think for us as adults, it's really important to be actively equipping them to transition into adult life with the tools that they need to thrive.
Yeah. And then you throw into that COVID-19. So since that's come into the equation, what have been some things that you've learned about youth and youth culture and how they're coping with some of this, like something like this?
Yeah, like it's interesting because I mentioned like so many different social media platforms are all fighting for their attention, but now that they have all the time in the world for those things, for social media, I'm finding that youth are really looking for real human interaction again. Like they're realizing that connection through a phone connection through a screen is not real connection. Like you and I, we can have this conversation where we're seeing each other's faces, but it's not the same as like gathering in the same place and just having community that way. So yeah, that's one thing that I've really noticed is just like the need for human interaction. And I think youth are experiencing that and are realizing that. And I honestly think coming out of coronavirus pandemic, like there's going to be some positives that come out of it where people realize, wow, we took hanging out for granted and we took human interaction for granted. So yeah, that's it's encouraging for me to see that they're needing that human interaction again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's one thing to show each other tricks online socially, but it's a different thing when you're together and you got the tapping going on. Like there's just a whole
Yeah.
interaction that happens. I mean, you know, when I do some of my amazing flips and kick flaps, slip slaps off the stage, and everyone just shouts and cheers and starts tearing their shirts when they see me do it. I mean, you just can't do that stuff virtually. You just can't do it. So, and I know you miss seeing that. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, anytime I've tried anything that I go to the hospital. By the way, if you are ever at the deck, we do know that it only takes about probably 6 minutes for the ambulance to get once 911 is called to the center, and then from there about 2 minutes to get to the hospital. So,
do you wanna share why we know that?
no, but just we know. Got you covered. All right, Jared. What is missing for young skaters growing up?
What's missing? I think to a certain extent, role models. Like I would say the skateboard scene is like it's a generally accepting community. Older skateboarders usually interact well with younger ones. But what I think would be missing is just like true mentorship and the ownership of that by older skateboarders who have an influence on these younger guys. Yeah, because like young people, they're watching older skaters in the community, and they're learning from them. And I just think it's important for those role models to really take that seriously, and I guess just live a life worth emulating, like a life that they would be okay with that younger person, I guess, copying. Yeah, I think it's really important to really take ownership of how us as older skaters influence the younger guys in the community.
Mm. Do you see much attempts for copying, or like just think of the younger skaters? You see some of these guys. I mean, I see these guys that can do like crazy, amazing tricks, right? And then I've also seen, this is back before your time, when we first built our first quarter pipe, and a youth had seen other people drop in and they thought they could drop in and then dropped out and snapped their wrist. It's like we didn't even have the thing open for like 30 minutes and we had it broken. And so, but they saw it and they had to do it. Like, do you find the older guys take the time to show and teach and say, well, yeah, whoa, don't try that? Or is it more like, this will be funny, let's watch them drop in?
I would say, like, I don't think they would ever do the this will be funny, let's watch it happen. Like,
Yeah.
I think as far as that goes, like older guys in skateboarding are honestly really, really good with just helping guys figure things out, different tips for tricks and stuff. And I think it's so important to take that one step further and just like in their interactions with each other, in how they talk and how they act at the skate park, or even just like respond to maybe authority. Like, I think it's really, really important to take it one step further than just maybe offering a trick tip, and like offering maybe some wisdom as that older person in the community.
Yeah, I think it's interesting just seeing some of the guys that I follow. Again, I'm not a true skater, but I still follow a lot of guys because I like watching what they can do, right? And just seeing some of them now start to go out on the streets and go into some of the parkades and stuff like that. It's like, you get an officer seeing that. I mean, I know everyone's just trying to everyone's keeping the distance and everything else, but everyone's also trying to just keep the city and people safe, but it's so hard. Weather's getting good. And yeah, I see that challenge coming up. So I threw that out on a call today. Just that, yeah, like our skater community is finding it tough staying inside. Like
Hmm.
it's got to be some options somehow, sometime. Even if we just had a date that we knew distance skating would be okay, and maybe you can't bring food and beverages or something. They have to wear a mask. I mean, it'll be interesting if they have to wear a mask when they don't wear helmets, but maybe to skate, when they're
uh,
going to pay an $800 fine, it might be worth the mask.
a mask is more stylish than a helmet. So
True, yeah, you can paint a face on it. So put on it moistly speaking or something. All right, what do you see as challenging about ministry?
um, I would kind of tie this into sort of how I answered how working at YFC has impacted my life, and I think like just getting out of the way and allowing God to do His thing and not worrying about whether what I'm doing is enough is that's like a really challenging thing for me personally in ministry. And it's like whether I'm running a program for youth or I'm asking someone to support my ministry financially. Like I've just found it challenging to get out of the headspace that I need to justify myself or I need to justify my job and my own abilities. Cause like I know that I don't. And I know that I'm in ministry because God has put me here. But I think it's human nature to feel the need to try and have everything figured out, and to do everything for yourself, and so that you can show people that you're successful, um, whatever that means. So yeah, I think that would be one of my main challenges being in ministry.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I see that, and it's interesting because a lot of it isn't about what you necessarily accomplish, because it's that other person that you're empowering them to make the choices. I mean, at the end of the day, you're respecting and supporting them with whatever choice they make. So
Hmm.
sometimes people look at outcomes based on what difference you're making. It's just your responsibility. And it's like, yeah, no, no it's not. I show up and I love unconditionally, try to bring some hope and truth in. But um, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, like even I noticed it when so before I was in ministry, I was a framer, and so like I would go to work as a framer. We'd start with say a foundation, and by the end of the day, we have walls up, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like you go home having seen what your work accomplished. And in ministry, a lot of times that's not the case. It's you're in relationship with people, you're sharing hope with people, but then you go home and it's like, did that really accomplish anything? Was it worth my time to do that? And so yeah, that's been a really challenging thing. It's just like you don't necessarily see results always.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, true that. True that. And that's where it's good to have things like for self-care, and I'll ask you that question in a bit. Um, like for me, I build airplanes, like radio controlled
Mhm.
planes, and I do that for fun. And people say, well, how do you afford that? Well, when you take 3 years to build it, you can afford it. But it's just you see a little bit more accomplished. There's just something even as simple as that. It just lets your brain feel that satisfaction, and then the rest is kind of leave them with God. When it comes for you, what do you do for self care? What do you do for fun? What rejuvenates you? What puts into you?
um, The big thing this winter for me was hockey. Like it was my first winter in probably 5 years where I had consistently played hockey, and it was cool to even just track my progress from the first time I stepped on the ice this year till now. Whereas like I noticed a significant increase in my abilities with that.
Cool.
So like yeah, that would be definitely something that I do to kind of have that sense of accomplishment. Other than that, biking, I play music, I play guitar. Um, I make coffee. Like coffee is kind of
Hmm. Yeah,
sort
you
of
do.
just
Yeah, you do.
therapeutic time for me. Yeah, I think that's about it for hobbies.
And see, I miss that part of you coming in because you would bring coffee and share with me, and I like that because I like to drink coffee. I'm not making it, but I do like to drink it. Yeah. Very cool. So, what are your dreams? If you were to go to dreams for skateboarding ministry in Canada, whoa, this is like a big question.
I
What
know.
are your dreams for Canada, Jared,
So
in
it's
skateboarding?
I know who asked this. It was
Do you?
well, actually, so Skate Life Toronto posed the question. So either Jordan Smale or Chris Brown from Skate
Okay.
Life Toronto. But yeah, big
So, you,
question,
so you're
guys.
going to take over Skate Life Canada? Is that your
No,
dream?
it's not. I've seen how much Jordan works just as the Ontario director,
Yeah,
and
right?
it's
Don't
nuts.
want that one.
Nope. Um, my dreams for skate ministry. Uh, I would honestly just say like boldness. Like I want to see people who are in skateboard ministry boldly sharing the hope that they have because they're followers of Jesus. Um, and I want to see them using the common interest of skateboarding just to invite others into that hope. Like I'm preaching to myself on that for sure. Yeah. And so like even just looking at what I want skate ministry in London to be like, I have at my desk, I just have this verse posted as a reminder. It's Ephesians 2 verse 22, and it just says, and in him you too are becoming a dwelling in which God lives by his spirit. um and so like yeah, I just want the skate scene in London, the skate scene in Toronto, in Ontario. Oh, there it is, that's my desk. Yeah, so I want the skate community in London to be a community that's, or in Canada, I guess, to be a community that is experiencing how much God really does love them, and to be a community that is thriving because God's spirit is there in that community.
Mm.
Yeah, I just think it's so important for us as leaders who are in skate ministry to own that and to boldly share that, because like it's that hope that I have because of my faith is like the most beneficial thing in my life. It's what keeps me going through tough times, through good times, and
Mm.
I think it would be foolish to not share that with others.
Yeah.
And even just for myself, I want that boldness to just share like, hey, this is the hope that I have, and like that it works with skateboarding. It works with the skate community, and like you can be a skateboarder and a follower of Jesus. Um,
Yeah, that's right.
and,
I mean, it's interesting as people get to know, and I find as skaters get to know who Jesus was in the life of Jesus, like probably one of the most radical and in many ways countercultural, rebellious in a good way kind of guy,
mhm.
like literally transformed, well, one could say the world. I think they get it that this guy gave it his all and total sacrifice. There is just something amazing and totally cool when you get to know Jesus. And it's interesting. Other sport athletes, they definitely openly talk about their faith, but I do find sometimes there's certain more individual sports that people hold back a little bit more on that faith talk. And
Yeah, and like I think probably something to do with that is like as a skateboarder, like specifically talking about professionals, is like you are your brand. So
yeah,
you're selling yourself to these companies who might sponsor you. And so it's like I think a lot of times there's sort of that hold back maybe some of the more real stuff because you don't want a sponsor to drop you, or you don't want um yeah, you just don't
yeah,
want that sort of
that's right.
I guess judgment piece. But also like I would say there are a lot of professional skateboarders now who are sharing their faith and who are being bold about that. And
Mm,
yeah, I love it. I think it's
yeah.
amazing.
Well, that'll be cool to get. Hopefully, some of them will eventually get on some Insta Live interviews. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
One day.
Cool. One day. So I got a few questions here. Maybe you can explain, just because I am up in Jared's office. I'm not going to be touching this stuff because I
Oh
want to
boy.
make sure that we are honoring sort of distancing. But I mean, if people were in your office, they would probably want to know a little bit about who is Jared. How do we get to know Jared a little bit? And so we see up here we've got a certificate. It looks like you have had mental health first aid. That's really cool to know. So you can provide some sort of supports. It looks like you're kind of you've got some plan to protect stuff, so you are want to keep things safe. But then you got like a spider hanging there. Like what is that? Why do you have a spider? What does the skaters and spiders do together?
Honestly, that just it fell off that shelf like when I moved into that space. And I kept it around. I don't know. I think it's from like Halloween decorations from like years ago, but
Okay, gotcha. And I do see a skateboard down here. It's closed. It's tech deck instead of the deck, but that's pretty close. Up here, it looks like we've got a scooter, and then you've got a skateboard with a rubber ducky. What,
yep.
what is symbolic about that?
So those came in Kinder eggs that we had upstairs in the office.
Okay,
And I pinned them up there just as actually just a reminder to pray for skateboarders in London and scooters in London. Yeah, so like I glance at it sometimes and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I gotta pray for them. Gotta keep them in mind. So
nice,
that's why I've kept those up there.
nice. I see you got a note there from Tristan Strange. Is
Tristan
that
the Christian Skater. Tristan
yeah?
the Christian Skater. We yeah, so I interviewed him 2 weeks ago.
Shout out to Christian Skater
That's
Tristan.
that's up on our YouTube if someone wants to check out that interview.
Oh,
It's
there you go.
super interesting.
Nice. And I notice across all the staff's desks, yours is the only one that's got sound and music, and it's a tape. That's awesome. How does a cassette deck work exactly?
um, I can't answer that.
It's got auto reverse. That's pretty incredible. That's high tech stuff. That's high tech stuff. Um, awesome. Well, Jared, thank you. I don't know if there's any other questions out there other than some secret talents, Jared.
Secret talents.
You can't
I
tell us they're a secret.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think most of my talents, maybe I have so much pride that I just share them all.
Right.
um, I don't know. I can play like two little tunes on a harmonica, if that counts.
That's cool. You are pretty good. I think you surprised people at Christmas dinner when you did your songs. And I'm sitting here playing the Frozen songs, Rising. So yeah, there's a few people that didn't know that you had that talent
I guess
to.
that was secret, not so much
Yeah,
anymore.
not so much anymore. Your mountain bike racing, it is mountain biking, right? That you do
Yep.
racing, yeah. So I mean, obviously that's on hold right now. But you said terrorize Boulder Hill or mountain. That's it, Buller Bump. But then going further north, you'd have some real hills you could race
Yes.
down. So yeah. What's your worst injury?
Honestly, I've never broken a bone. I've never had a concussion. Where's some wood to knock on?
Yeah, because I once said that.
Which yeah, like that honestly is kind of crazy because like I grew up as a hockey goalie, which that's injuries all the time. If maybe I just wasn't good enough to get injured, but yeah, I don't know. Like I mean, as a 2-year-old, I think, or a 1-year-old, I cracked my skull falling out of a patio door.
Yeah.
That would be
Ouch.
my worst injury, but
Okay. Very cool. Okay, well, to make this the last question, because I know it does take a while for these guys to edit these videos. But we got one more question, and it is, what is the best present ever received and your worst one? Maybe start with your worst one. Start with the worst, then move to the best.
worst present ever received.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for this. I also don't want to call anyone out.
Just don't say who it was from. They won't
Yeah,
see.
but
They won't see. The Cecilia turn off. So he doesn't know.
worst present. I don't know. Like maybe so as like because I'm from a Mennonite background, so tradition is that we have bowls at our table Christmas morning that have like goodies and stuff in them, and
Okay.
like tradition is like peanuts and oranges in there, and I hate peanuts, so I would say peanuts as a gift is the worst gift I've ever received.
Okay. Okay. And your best.
My best gift, um, should I say the Sunday school answer? Salvation. Uh,
And so your
no,
second best after that. And Cecilia
Um,
is here. She's just noting that she's here.
yeah, she's here, so now I have to say one of her gifts. Um,
Her. Oh,
no, but actually, I would say, I mean, it was kind of on my own accord that I got this gift, but we counted it as a Christmas gift from her. But a few years ago, I got a custom guitar
ooh,
um, as technically a gift from Cecilia. So I think that would be
nice.
probably my favorite gift I've ever got.
Technically, because she spent the next 10 years paying it off. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Jared, hey, thanks for hanging out with us today and look forward to seeing more stuff going on the deck. So those that are looking, we post things on the YFC London Instagram and Facebook, but we also, Jared is always doing different things with the deck as well. And so if you're interested in learning more about skateboarding, skate culture, different interviews that are going on, be sure to check out YFC The Deck on Instagram and get some cool posts that are going on there as well. And so, Jared, look forward to seeing all that you've got going on. Thanks for joining our team. It's been a year and a half now, eh? Almost, we're good
Yeah.
too.
Well, full time for just over a year now. In
Yeah,
April, it
yeah,
was a year.
yeah. So that's really cool. So glad to have you on the team here and all that you're doing for youth in London, St. Thomas, Elmer. You are a professional skater. That was the one thing Jared and I were talking about that since he's
Sponsored
actually
up.
skate sponsored. Yeah, okay, sponsored skater. Since he is covered through ministry to skateboard, he is a sponsored skater. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, Jared, good chatting with you, and look forward to seeing you more in a bit.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, Jared.
Later, dude.
Later.